NBC Chief Political Analyst Chuck Todd is joining me on set. Chuck, nice to see you.
Happy New Year.
Appreciate your being here. So we are now just days away from Iowa. We've been talking about Iowa for 5 years, it feels like. And here, finally, it's just 5 days away. So much of the conversation, though, is about second place right now. Why aren't those two fighting for first?
It's a great question. They're not running campaigns to win this. They're not running campaigns to have a debate with Donald Trump either. They're not interested in, it's fascinating to me to watch, particularly DeSantis and Haley. They're trying to essentially endorse Trumpism without Trump. They're trying really hard to somehow separate Trump, the individual, from his voters. They're not interested in pursuing a flat-out debate. Hey, you were a failure in your first term. If you hadn't been a failure, you'd have been reelected. Yeah. They're not litigating this, and so when you're campaigning from this position of fear, and that's what they are, you're asking voters, well, let's see, I'll give you what you like about Trump, but without Trump, that voter hears, well, I either want Trump or Trump Light, and anytime you're offering light, most people, unless it's Miller Lite versus Miller Genuine Draft, do you ever prefer the light beer version? You usually want the real thing.
We read a bit of your column at the top of this hour. I want to read a little bit more because it kind of gets to this point, and I think this was smart. You say, I imagine both Haley and DeSantis will have even more to say about Trump and Trumpism after they lose this campaign to him. That is, if they determine that they have no futures in a Trump-led GOP. One gets the sense that both of them hold the delusion that somehow they can navigate this moment and get back into the Trump camp enough to be positioned as an heir apparent in 2028. Is that realistic for either of them?
I don't think it is, but I can tell you that's what the DeSantis world thinks. And as, the whole idea...
Don't go too far, because if it doesn't happen here, you got to hold your fire for the next one.
So it's more of okay, you took your shot, you're not going to win, don't burn the bridge. I think I think we're seeing evidence of this, right? When a voter says to DeSantis, I don't think you're tough enough on Trump, right? He says, what do you mean I'm doing this, this, and this? He made a decision. He's just not going to do that. So I think in the way our short-term attention span works, right, are any of the 2016 candidates viable in 2024 other than Donald Trump, right? Marco Rubio, not viable. Ted Cruz, not viable. Ron DeSantis is not going to be viable in 28, but he thinks he will be. And then there's Nikki Haley, right? When Christie has been sort of complaining about this idea when people are trying to push him out of the race, which, again, if you believe in stopping Donald Trump, Christie should be getting out. But I understand his frustration with Haley. I'll endorse you, but don't embarrass me and become his running mate.
Yeah.
Because then all of a sudden, it's glorified the same thing Christie ended up doing 8 years ago, essentially helping to mainstream Trump, right?
And which he said, I made a mistake.
Right. I think if Christie at all wants to be principled about what his campaign has been about, he can't endorse somebody who eventually shows up on the Trump ticket.
Is there a world where Nikki Haley is on the Trump ticket?
Anybody who has spent time covering Nikki Haley, anybody who has spent time understanding her ambition, nobody believes that she would say no to Donald Trump. Now, I don't believe Donald Trump will ask her to be on his ticket because he is not,
He's mentioned a lot of other names, by the way, including women that are not her.
That's right. And I don't think he doesn't want somebody that might eclipse him. We know that as far as star power is concerned. And he certainly wants somebody that wouldn't be there without him. Whatever you think of Nikki Haley has had a successful career without Donald Trump.
Yeah.
He'd prefer to find somebody like an Elise Stefanik or a Kristi Noem who wouldn't be relevant nationally without Donald Trump.
Let me ask you a quick question. You were talking about Chris Christie. He said yesterday of Governor Sununu in the state of New Hampshire, he called him a liar for suggesting he was going to be dropping out of this race.
It was a weirdly angry retort.
He was clearly angry in that moment. But were he, under some circumstance, to drop out before the New Hampshire primary, how significant would that be, given the fact that Nikki Haley is within his number of points of Donald Trump right now?
I have to say, I think that he's actually doing Nikki Haley a bigger favor by doing it now, right? The question, I think nobody believed he was going to stay in the race.
You mean if he is to drop out now?
If he is doing this, he would actually be doing her a huge favor doing it before Iowa.
I see.
Because it allows her. But it really does put the pressure on her, and it really does she needs a second place. It's sort of like she's got a 1% chance without finishing second and a 2% chance, okay?
Yeah.
But her odds go up if she can finish second in Iowa, knock out DeSantis. I don't think DeSantis' campaign lasts more than hours if he doesn't finish second in Iowa. and then she might be able to slingshot it. And with Christie getting out before this debate, if that is what's happening, and there's all sorts of chatter, so we're not going to, if he is doing that, he is doing her a huge favor.
Now, the irony in all of this,
endorsement or not,
the irony in all of this is if she gets to South Carolina, that actually could be a brick wall for her, right? She may not have the support she needs in her own home state. Chuck, nice to see you. I appreciate your being here with your expertise.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.